שלום,
Hello,
אנחנו נפגשים שוב
we
עם
meet again with
הדוקטור
Kabbalist
מייקל
Dr.
לייטמן
Michael Laitman
בנושא
regarding
ספרך,
your book, Like a Bundle of Reeds,
שמדבר על
which
מה
talks
זה נקרא
about
להיות
the
יהודי,
meaning
מה
of being
המשמעות של זה,
Jewish,
מה המשמעות של להיות אור
what it
לגויים,
means to be a light of the
מדוע יש
nations, why
אנטישמיות,
there's
קצת פתרון
anti-Semitism, and the
לאנטישמיות,
solution to
והיום אנחנו
anti-Semitism.
בשעה טובה,
Today, and it's
הולכים
about
לדבר על
time,
הפתרון
we're going to talk about the solution not only to anti-Semitism,
To all the
זהו,
Right.
problems of the world.
הכל, זה עסקת חבילה פה,
it's a package
לקבל
deal.
פתרון כולל
You get a
להכל, נכון?
conclusive solution to everything, right?
אני הבנתי שבעצם
As
מדובר
I
בשיטה
understand it,
שנקראת
we're talking about a
חוכמת
method
החיבור,
called the wisdom of
שבחינוך
connection or
אינטגרלי,
integral
בעצם
education,
אני מבין על
which,
אותו
as I
דבר.
understand it, is actually the same thing.
אולי פשוט ככה בלי הקדמות מיותרות.
Without further ado,
ספר
why
לי
don't
על
you just
חוכמת
tell
החיבור,
us
מה
about the wisdom
העיקרון
of connection,
מה העיקרון שעומד
the
מאחורי הדבר?
principles behind it?
העיקרון הוא פשוט.
The principle is simple.
אנחנו צריכים
We
להתגבר
have
על אותו
to
פער,
overcome
אותו אגו שמפריד
that
בינינו,
gap, that ego that is separating us,
שהתחיל כבר, כמו שאנחנו דיברנו
that
על זה
started as we talked
באחת
about
מהשיחות
it
הקודמות.
in one of our earlier conversations,
להתגלות
to be
כמגדל בבל,
revealed back in Babylon as the Tower of Babel through their pride, wanting to reach the heavens. Later on, the people of Israel discovered it as Mount Sinai, a mountain of hatred. And if we overcome this ego and we connect above it, we become similar to the upper force. As it says that the people of Israel should return all the way to the Lord thy God. Then we discover him, the creator, that upper force.
I'm reminding us from previous shows, we're talking about a force of bestowal, a force of
Yes.
giving,
It clothes in us. This is
meaning
how
we
we feel
become
it.
like that.
Yes, yes. And then we reach eternal, complete life in a totally different dimension than where we are now. And as it says, you shall see your life in your world, in your life. We have to discover that spiritual state in our lives here in this world.
לכן הכל הוא בנוי
Therefore,
על
everything
האגו
is
שלנו,
built
על
on
הטבע
our
האדם
ego,
הרגיל,
on the ordinary human nature in this world, just like everyone feels, that we are all egoists, we all want for ourselves, we want to succeed, to profit. Each one of us instinctively only cares about that.
ואם אנחנו מתעלים
And
מעל זה,
if we rise
ושמים
above
קשר
that
בינינו,
and we
מצב
put
יותר
the
מועדף,
connection between us as a higher, more preferable state than each one caring for himself,
אנחנו מנסים את זה
then to the extent that we try to do that,
אנחנו יכולים להזמין האור
we can
כוח
draw
מיוחד
the
שנקרא
upper
תורה.
light, a special force called the
ברק
Torah. This
יצר
is
הרע
called,
שמפריד בינינו.
I created the evil inclination which is separating between us. I've created the Torah as a spice, which comes as a light, the light in her that reforms, because a special light, a special force rises in us,
ואז הוא
appears
מתקן
in us,
אותנו.
and then
הוא מעלה
it
אותנו.
corrects us, meaning it elevates us. Instead of being in hatred towards one another, all kinds of egoistic calculations, suddenly we see that we can be in a mutual connection with one another, on top of the hatred, on top of the distance, on top of these reciprocal rejections, all kinds of calculations that we have. That is all done by the light. It doesn't take any force from us.
What do you
Also,
mean when you
we're
say
incapable
light?
of doing anything. Light, I mean the force of bestowal and love that awakens in us, and suddenly we become bestowers, those who love and are being loved by others. And then between us is formed such a connection, as it says in the Torah, that we should be as one man in one heart. That we, to some extent, when we reach such a state, we start feeling that in us works a force of love and bestowal called the Creator, Boreh. It is called Boreh because it's from the words Bo, Boreh, come and see. Because we reach a state where we feel Him inside of us, that force.
קצת קשה לי עם
Yes.
המושג
I-
כוח.
I'm having trouble with the term force
אני מכיר
of
כוחות
love.
פיזיים.
I know
אהבה
physical
זה
forces.
איזשהו- זה רגש, או...
Love is an emotion,
מה זאת אומרת
or
שאהבה זה כוח?
what does it mean that love is a force?
כוח ש-
It is a force
שעל ידו אני
by
נמשך
which
לאחרים.
I am drawn towards others. This is why it is a
אהבה זה
force.
תכונה.
זאת אומרת, הוא מניע
Love is a
אותי.
In other words,
quality.
it moves
Yes.
me toward others,
That
and
is
that's why
true.
it's called a
זה לא משהו
force.
שאני יכול
Yes.
It's not something I can measure,
פיזיקלי.
I can gauge it in some way.
No, we
with
don't
some
have
physical
such a
meter.
possibility to do that. But look,
שאני אוהב את הילד שלי הקטן,
When I love my little
אז אני
child,
נמשך עליו.
and then I'm drawn to
יש לי
him,
איזושהי משיכה,
I have a
אני
certain
כל הזמן חושב
attraction.
עליו,
I constantly
אני כל
think
הזמן,
about him.
דואג לו,
I constantly
אני
worry
רוצה
about him.
להתקרב עליו,
I want to come
אני
closer
נמשך.
to him. I'm drawn to
הדחף
him.
הזה שיש לי להחזיק
That
את
drive that I
הכוח,
have towards him, that is called the force of love. It's a
זה כל
force.
אחד יכול להבין.
Well, anyone can understand
Yes,
that.
but to measure it,
אפשר לעשות איזה
it's
מין
possible
מדידות.
to
עד
have
כמה
certain
שאתה,
measurements.
עובר
How
מחסומים
much,
בדרך כדי להגיע
how many obstacles do you pass along the way in order
In
to
other
become
words,
to come close
that
to him?
emotion
כלומר, לדוגמה שנתת,
of love,
שיש
as you gave in the example,
כלפי הילד,
yes, of a parent toward a
שמניע אותו לעשות
child,
הרבה דברים.
that
לא רק
moves the parent to
כלפי
do
Yes.
many things,
כל החיים שלו, העבודה,
not just towards the child directly, but even, just keeping a job. Everything they do, the parents,
אותו
is really
רגש הופך להיות כוח מניע.
how that emotion becomes a motivating force. So that's the force of love.
Yes,
Okay.
זהו.
אז סליחה
that's
Sorry
it.
for interrupting you.
אז בצורה כזאת אנחנו
So in
מגיעים
such a way we reach
לגילוי בנו את של הכוח
the revelation inside of us of that force of love, the force of giving, the force of connection.
So you're saying that this force of love exists at the basis of nature?
Yes,
נקרא שהבורא
this is
הוא בורא
called
להיות
that
מלא כל העולם.
the creator or the upper light fills up the whole world. That's what Kabbalists say. But this is actually an expression.
Glory
Yes,
fills
his
the world. Yes,
honor
is that
fills
it?
the world.
זאת אומרת שהוא
That he's
נמצא
everywhere,
בתוכנו, אבל
meaning he's
אנחנו
inside of
יכולים
us.
להשתמש בו בתנאי
But
שאנחנו
we can
מזמינים
use him on the
אותו,
condition that we invite it,
מושכים
we
אותו,
draw it,
שאנחנו
we
רוצים שיתגלה
pull it,
בנו.
we want it to be revealed in
ובשביל זה
us.
אנחנו צריכים
And
לעשות
for
כל מיני
that, we have to
פעולות
perform all kinds of
בינינו,
actions
פעולות
between
החיבור
us,
למיניהן.
actions of connection.
אנחנו קוראים לפעולות החיבור האלו
We call those actions of
פעולות
connection
הסדנאות, פעולות של
actions that we do
הלימוד
in
של
workshops, actions where we learn how to unite, how to connect, the
There are
wisdom of
many
connection.
types of workshops. It's very trendy.
לא, אני מדבר על
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the workshops that we do in a framework of the method of connection.
What do these workshops give you that you can't get from a workshop?
סדנאות של יחסים
I
יותר
don't know,
טובים
relationships,
בעבודה, או
workshops like
סדנאות העצמה
work
אישית,
relationships
כל מיני
or all
סדנאות.
kinds of
Yeah, there are
self-empowerment
many
workshops and whatnot.
workshops. There are all kinds of different circles. It only shows how much humanity is really helpless with respect to arranging their lives in the right, good manner. Even though there are so many methods, indeed no method actually helps. Rather, they each replace the previous and each day anew.
By the way, I
לפני כמה זמן
a
נתקלתי
while back ran into
בספר
a
של
book
היסטוריון של חינוך,
of a historian who specializes in education, and he describes
את הבעייתיות
the
עם החינוך הפרונטלי.
problem of frontal
והוא אומר,
education.
אנחנו מתייחסים
He says we
לילדים,
treat
כמו
children
קופסאות שצריכים
as
להיות
boxes you have to
במקום
fill up with
להתייחס לילד
information instead of treating a child
כאישיות,
as a
צריך
personality
לפתח את
that you need to
האישיות עצמה,
nurture.
ואז הוא כבר הולך
And then the
לפי
child
הנטיות שלו,
follows its
וככה
own
הוא גם לומד הרבה
tendencies
יותר
and learns much better. It turns out
טוב.
that
שלימוד בסדנאות או בקבוצות,
teaching in
וכל מיני כאלה,
workshops
כבר
or
כ-150
groups
שנה.
has existed for 150 years already. They keep reforming education and keep dropping the reforms and going back to the frontal education.
ופה אני יודע שאתה גם מדבר
And
לא
I
רק על חינוך,
know that
אתה
you're
מדבר
not
על
only
חינוך
talking
מבוגרים,
about
אתה
children's
מעלה-
education, but adult education.
All kinds of different forms, yes. We need to
So what
educate
is
the whole of
special about
humanity.
these
בעצם
workshops?
יוצא מדבריך שהם
Because
מתאימות לכל
it
אחד
seems you seem to imply that they're good for anyone at any age.
First of all, I saw that as much as I was familiar with other kinds of workshops, I saw that it's just speaking, arguments in many cases, scrutinies, which are also involving conflict of opinions. Our workshops are of a totally different kind because in our workshop, to begin with, we build ourselves so that we don't touch our ego because it cannot be repaired, our ego. Our correction is that we have to rise above it, meaning we connect, say, around the table or simply sitting in a circle without a table. We are all different. We are all equal. No one is right, and there is no one who is right. We all listen to each and every one, whatever he's saying. about the topic that we receive from the lecturer, the moderator. We relate to the question of the moderator and we start discussing it, but such that whenever somebody is speaking, the others are included in it, because we have to reach that inclusion. That I accept your words, your opinion, doesn't matter what you say. There's no such thing as I disagree. I nullify my opinion, and the moment that you are speaking, I listen to you, and I, as if I'm in you, and I want to feel you in whatever you're saying.
Maybe it's just me, but you specified several rules here, and I basically remember only the last one. The first ones I forgot. How do you keep these rules? While you were speaking, I felt how each of these rules brings up resistance in me.
Yes,
so I can't remember them anymore. How can I keep them?
That's good already. Already you understand that these rules were meant in order for us to rise above our nature. So we all rise above our ego. We detach ourselves from it, and we are now building a certain common platform above the table. Say, this table is us, the ordinary us. Now you have to speak, say. You are speaking and I'm listening. Your speaking helps me be included, integrate with your thought. I accept it. I do not criticize it at all. I want to use your thought in order to connect with you. I don't care what it is that you're saying even. What is important to me is to agree with it in order to connect by it. This is a reason for connection. Then the next person following you is also saying something, and also with him. On the same topic, let's say he voices his own opinion. Yes, opposite you, a little bit different, say. And I connect through his sayings with him, and that way I connect with everyone. That is, I now connected with all of these people, say we're 10, with 9 people, and now all of them are inside of my sensation. I'm connected with them. Each one of them did the same thing. That is, instead of 10 people, we now have as if 100, because each one split himself to, well, not 100, but let's say 90, because each one divided himself and was included with the others. Next, when we are included with one another and one another in such a way, the next phase, after we're included with each other in such a way, is that we want to feel that we, all of us, out of this reciprocal inclusion, integration, as we rise above our ego, we can reach a certain common place in our emotion and mind.
I was just, production told me that the wire of the microphone is visible, and it bugs me, and it's hard as it is to understand what you're saying here. We apologize. Again, so what's happening? Everyone spoke, and I was trying to mingle?
To be included with everyone.
Remind me what that means.
On top of whatever they're saying, I agree a priori with whatever they're saying. My agreement with him helps me connect with him, to his emotion, to his mind.
Okay, so
that I use whatever he's saying. It doesn't even matter what he's saying. When he's a meeting, I enter him.
So maybe I shouldn't really listen to the content of what they're saying, because then I'd immediately...
But then how will you connect with him? That content helps you be connected with him in spite of your ego. That if you would be operating your ego, you'd be turning him off, pushing him away. But this way you're putting down your ego and you're connecting with him.
Okay.
These are exercises. You need to perform these exercises.
Go through it.
Yes. And then you are included with everyone, mingling with everyone. And once all of us have done these exercises, when everybody's included with everyone, all the 10 men around the table,
Why 10 men?
then we now try to It's
Of the
better be
same
man.
gender or what?
No, only in order not to have alien thoughts that we're sitting together with women about sex
So
and
it's
all
best
these things.
if the
So
circles
it
are
won't
of
be in the way.
the same sex, right? Female, men's circle, and
Yeah, let's say,
women's
but
circle.
also it depends on the kind of workshops. There are, let's say, workshops about relationships, couples, or children's education, or problems of men and women getting
then you
together,
want them mixed.
connecting in all kinds of ways. So yeah, so there we should be mixed. But for beginners, I would say that the best
Okay.
is to have the same gender, because sometimes it can get in the way. Nonetheless, we are people. We're alive. We have these desires, and that's another obstacle. And we don't need these obstacles now. The main thing for us is to feel that point of connection. And if it's a point of connection with a woman, now there are other ingredients that come in, hormones
So,
and
I
my
see that
thoughts,
you're
etc.
constantly pushing toward connection. The purpose of the whole workshop is to connect, to unite. I have an
Yes.
ego to connect. I have this interference of a woman. We have to put it aside so it doesn't disturb my connection. So I sit only with men. The structure and the rules of the workshop are all in
Yes.
order to connect.
Only that. Doesn't matter what they're saying, but I listen to you in order to specifically through these words, like in a pipeline, to enter you into your mind
At
and
the same
heart and
time, by
identify
listening
with
to
you.
you, I bring my ego with me.
I oppress it. I don't want to be connected to my ego right now. I want to live in you, then in the other one, then in the third. And this way, when we are all integrating with one another, everybody with everybody, then in the next circle, the next round, we want to create between us a common force, a single force. The desire and thought that they will be together, such that here before us in the center of the table we have as if a single heart and a single mind, and we, all of us, are there, and you can't distinguish between us, that it's one for everyone. And when we begin to put our efforts into it, our forces, our exertion, then we want to further in the third round to ask that force of bestowal and love that exists in nature will be revealed. We want it to appear and help us to be as one man in one heart. This is called that we are asking for the reforming light, the light of the Torah. And then we can, possibly not at once, but over some time, we reach a state where this force is affecting us, and it is beginning to be felt. Not felt as the force itself, rather we feel that there is something that is created between us, something that is one, an emotion and a mind that is one for everyone. And then in those common mind and emotion, that it's not divided into everyone, but rather it's one. Just like many drops of water that become a single drop, then we begin to feel in it a new life. A heart and mind that are new for us, and we belong to it, to that part. This is called the first meeting with the Creator. And out of that, a person starts understanding and feeling out of his mind and heart, his emotion and his intellect. He now starts feeling a totally new attitude to the whole of reality, to all of this world. That he now knows already what everything exists for, how to behave with everyone, what to do with anything in life. That he understands that we have to connect everything into that point of unity, that connection between all people. Bring them into this connection, not just 10 people, but all of those billions. Bring them into that connection. And the upper light, the upper force will be revealed more and more. This is called the revelation of the Creator to the created being.
Let's say I discovered the force which is right now hidden from me. So now I discovered it. Why does it?
You discover it in that
I didn't
common
get that
sense.
at all. Oh, what's
In the
created
common
in the
heart
workshop,
and mind.
fine. But I
Yes.
discovered it, and I feel
Yes,
I have a new perception.
you discovered it there, inside of that common heart and mind. Don't forget that. It's not that you discovered it. You disappear there. You are immersed there. You have a feeling that you are not you, myself. Rather, it's
So,
us.
wait, okay.
And us is also not quite accurate, because
Right.
us, we, is also a collection of individuals. So it's not we, it is that new image which is called Adam,
Of
human.
which you are part. Well, that's too much for me.
Yeah, it's a matter of a feeling that has to appear in a person, and then he understands what this is about. This is the next level of our existence, and our world has to reach that feeling,
I'm not there,
that
so
awareness.
I'm not getting it. Fine. But let's say, for the purpose of conversation, that I have this new sense. Why does it resolve every problem in my life?
All of your problems
Meaning
are
what?
that you are in a broken vessel, in a broken desire, in an egoistic desire. You always want to receive and fill it up and fill it up and
Well,
fill it
that's
up.
how I was
And
made.
you work on it like an ant your entire life. That is true. Nobody is saying differently. However, now we have reached a time where we, all of us, have to experience the crisis and understand that we can't just continue living in it. Rather, the purpose of humanity right now is to rise higher. And the people of Israel have to show them the way, how to do it. How do we rise to the next degree of advancement? We've been through many periods in our evolution. Now we have to rise to the degree of Adam, human. Adam comes from the word similar to the Creator. By
Okay.
that, we're building the
I
Adam.
still don't understand why it answers every problem in my life.
Because by that, you're elevating yourself to a totally different existence. Imagine if all over the world there will be people who all feel themselves as close to one another, as one man in one heart. If everyone realized that we are all living in a reciprocal perception, reciprocal support, reciprocal dependency, that all of us are close to one another as cells in a single body, then certainly in such a way we can make paradise out of this world. We don't need anything more than that. If we build that higher degree in our perception, in our understanding, in our ideology, out of that we start arranging our lives, our material lives, in a perfect way. Because I no longer need surplus for myself to be the strongest and the greatest. I care about everyone now. You see, if we will divide all of the treasures, the resources of the world among everyone, more or less, how much there will be nobody who is hungry or doesn't have clothes or anything. Everybody will simply have an
I know
abundance.
very well that there's plenty for everyone in the world.
Yes.
And all the problems is
Our ego is what stands in the
because
way.
we keep to ourselves if we can.
We cannot take care of our ego unless we rise
Okay.
above it.
How many workshops does it take to get to that state?
I don't think that many.
Right.
To feel these things, that can be done in a few workshops,
Okay,
3,
so let's
5
say-
maybe. Even a single workshop, you start feeling what it is that we're talking
Well, I
about.
have several questions here. The first one is this. I do this workshop with 10 men. Well, men, women, whatever. 10 people.
Yes,
There are 7 billion people in the world.
yes.
Even if I get to this connection with 10 people, it's not going to change my life because I'm not connected to the rest of the 7 billion minus 10.
we have to gradually make it so that it will spread all over the world. But the moment that you do it, already you are beginning to pass on to the world that positive force. Because we, all of us, are in a network. We are all in the global world. Therefore, we all have this mutual dependency. And if you attain it, and he attains it, and over there, 10 more and 10 more attain this level, well, we are all interconnected. So it spreads in that network of connection between us. We all depend on one another, and it spreads all over the whole of humanity. And we all start listening. So if we are speaking here about the role of Israel, anti-Semitism, and everything, you will start feeling it almost immediately, how much the whole world begins to change.
In what way?
That they begin to understand what specifically is the role of Israel, of the Jews, and they start helping it and supporting it. This is called the nations of the world,
Isaiah.
according to
I was just thinking about it.
the prophet Yeshayahu. Yes, the nations of the world take the people of Israel on their shoulders and they bring them to the temple.
That's
They
the meaning
will help us.
of that verse.
Yes, yes. This is how it will be, on the condition that we will take our role upon ourselves. And the time has come for it.
Indeed, it is time. The world requires it. We still have to develop extensively the implementation of this practice. First of all, thank you very much. Our time is up. In the coming programs, I'd like to talk more about the implementation because I feel that we are only just touching the tip and there's so much we can develop.
I'll be happy to do it.
So do join us again. Thank you very much, Dr. Laitman. Thank you a lot for watching us, and please do keep coming and being with us because as we just heard, either we do it together or so let's just do it together. Thank you and bye.